Hey y'all, welcome back. My name's Crystal, and another week has just flown by, so it's time for a weekly reading wrap up. What did I get into last week for my reading? Well, let's just dive in and see. So let's start it with some things that I have finished. We're going to start with Something Wicked This Way Comes by Bradbury. This was the book club pick for These Shades of Orange, Rachel's Patreon book club. And I've read a couple things by Bradbury so far and really loved them. And so I was very excited for this. And I was not disappointed. I did really enjoy this story. I did end up picking it up on audiobook. And that was very well done also. And this is, perfect October reading. It is set like the week before Halloween, and we follow two kind of young boys. They're 11 or 12, I think, and they see a little poster around the town. A carnival seems to be coming to town, and they're like, not really carnival season. What's this all about? They watch the train pull in, and lo and behold, it is a carnival. And oh gosh, how to explain what happens? Well, I don't want to, of course, spoil too much, but let's just say this carnival is bringing something a bit sinister, a bit dark with it. And these two boys get just wrapped up into it and have to save themselves, perhaps save the entire town, from the dark deeds done by the leader of this carnival, the Illustrated Man, or I think he's also called Mr. Dark. A most amazing name. It was just so good. Bradbury's writing style is it's just something that I enjoy. The way he goes about writing his characters and creating his settings is just perfection, I think. And I enjoyed the darkness in here along with the whimsy, but also, really the sort of commentary here about growing up. When you're a kid, you just want to be a grown up, and when you're a grown up, you just want to be a kid, and if you were given the opportunity to do one or the other, would you take that opportunity? I don't know, but yes, I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to read more Bradbury. I would love to read everything now. But yeah, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Perfect for October reading. If you're looking for something for October, perfect. So that was enjoyable. Next up, look at my list here. I finally read Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I think I'm the last person to have read it now. But yeah, it was enjoyable. I think most probably know what this one's about now, but set in the sort of world where sort of slowly people are what's the word I'm looking for? Violent things start happening, right? People either start sort of killing themselves, or they kill other people, and it sort of slowly, more increases, more and more things happen to people. And there's this theory that it's because people are seeing something, right? And we go to a fast forward, and lo and behold, yes, you cannot look outside anymore because you will either kill yourself or violently kill other people. And so we follow Mallory. She is making her way in this new world, and it flashes back and forth through times for the early days of how all of everything started, and then present day, several years later. And she's trying to make an escape down this river, right? And I enjoyed it. It definitely had some creepiness, with these unseen things, not and there's a sort of element of like The Thing, you know, where you're not always sure who you can trust, you know, like, is that person the thing kind of vibes. And so that I liked. I haven't seen the movie first though. I kind of think I like the movie just a little bit better. I don't know, maybe just because I saw it first, you know, kind of one of those things. But it was still enjoyable, and I'm glad to have finally read it, you know, to kind of check that one off the list. But yeah, it was good, and this one actually fulfilled a couple of prompts for the readathons I'm doing this month. So for Free Your Shelf, it was definitely the book to screen adaptation, checkity mark. And then for the Halloween horror movie extravaganza, there was a prompt to read a book that featured a monster. I think Bird Box fills that one pretty good. Okay, what's up next? Oh, I read Elevation by Stephen King. I did audiobook for this one as well. Stephen King does narrate this himself. I always like when he narrates his own stories. I had heard a lot about Elevation, that it was not good, and, you know, but it sucks. But then, like, a friend was like, you know, I kind of liked it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going into it anyway. I'm going to read all of Stephen King's books at some point anyway, so I have to read it at some point. The audiobook's like 4 hours. I mean, it's very short. And I did not like this book very much. The premise is interesting, you know, so our main character is this guy, he's like kind of a middle-aged guy, but he's kind of slowly losing weight, but he doesn't look like he's losing weight. So like, you would look at him and say he's maybe about 220, like, no, I'm actually like 200. And then like the next day I'm 199, you know, so it's just slowly losing this weight, and as the weight is moving, he's actually losing gravity as well. That stuff's very interesting. I thought, okay, interesting. But this is also kind of wrapped around this kind of small town story. It is set in Castle Rock. He's neighbors with this lesbian couple that are new to the area, have moved in, opened a vegetarian restaurant, and they have 2 dogs. And they are, the man is like, have your dog stop pooping on my yard, and there's this little animosity, and I don't know. All of the other stuff in this book, I did not care about. It was so boring. It was very stereotypical. There was like, it was heavy-handed with like this, for me, this is of course just my opinion, but this white guy, you know, let's come and save the town with making everyone accept the lesbian couple because no one likes them because they're married gay people. Boring. And then, of course, very stereotypical. Let's make the lesbians have dogs and make them own a vegetarian restaurant. You know, I didn't like it. But I check it off the list, and I'm just moving on. So that is what I finished for last week. That's a lie. I have not written something on here. I just finished 2 books recently. But I forgot because I haven't written them on my list yet. That's why I have a list. But I did finish Revelator by Daryl Gregory. I frickin' loved this book. I think I'm going to do a separate book chat about it. And actually, I am. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to have more to come. But, you know, historical fiction, sort of family story with some secrets. Then you throw in this sort of old, not old, but family god, folk religion. So good. So good. So more to come on that. And just last night, I finished up Sinister Mix by Bowyer. This is one of the a couple of short story collections I'm reading this month. I really read a story a day kind of thing, you know. And really liked this also, but no, going in, these stories are brutal. Okay, Brian Bowyer is, considered a more extreme, writer, and these are dark. These are dark stories, lots of murder, violence, but also very heavy emotionally, and again very dark. These sort of digs into these darker nature, right, of humanity, and when it comes to the violence, there's nothing is off limits for him. There's several stories in here that have violence towards children. So again, just know that going into it. But Brian Bowyer's writing style is very I don't want to say simple, but because I don't mean that actually in a negative way, but it's simple, straight to the point. There's not a lot of extra words, and for these stories, it works, and it pulls you in actually, and keeps you just wanting to read more. It's just, this is the story, right? And I love that actually about the way that he writes, and so yeah, this was my introduction to Brian Bowyer, and thanks to actually Jay over at The World According to Jay, because I won the giveaway for this book, so that gave me the opportunity to read it. And I'm definitely, when I'm in the mood for it, for something dark and heavy and violent, I definitely will read more by Brian Bowyer. So if you're in the mood for something dark and heavy and violent and itch in the gut, give it a go. I mean, I like it. So I enjoyed it. And to say I enjoyed it, you know what I mean. So these are the only best that my finishes. So I did have a DNF, my friends. I quit on The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I got let's look. No, maybe. I got to part 3. What chapter is it? Or 150 something pages in. I think that's a solid go. Well, that's giving it a solid try. I read it with my eyeballs. I pulled up the audio. I mean, I gave it a good try. I was so bored. I like a slow burn. I don't mind a slow moving story. This, however, is slow. So slow. And I didn't really give two flips about Addie. I didn't really like her character very much, and I don't know. I'm not gonna do it. I kept my bookmark in there in case if I ever go back, but I don't see myself going back to it. I just didn't like it. So, I love you. Stay lovey. So, some things that I am currently reading that I did start this past week. I dug into John Saul's Black Creek Crossing. Not quite halfway, but enjoying this so far. It's we've got a family that's moved into this house that has, supposed to be haunted. It's rumored to be haunted in the town and all this stuff. And there's definitely something going on. There's something going on, for sure. And so far so good, liking it for my first John Saul book ever, so that's good. I also made a start on Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chizmar. This is his newest release, and again, so far so good. And I actually pulled up the audiobook for this one, again, just to help me get through some of these books. I just have more time for audiobooks, so this one's interesting so far because it feels like true crime. It feels like a true story, like a memoir almost. And I think some of it is pulled from his life, his personal upbringing and things like that. But then there's this sort of murder mystery. And so yeah, it's pretty good. It's like a book about Richard Chizmar wrote a book in this book. I mean, yeah, it's a thing. But so far I'm enjoying it. If you like true crime stories, you might actually like this one because it's definitely that feel of being a true story, a non-fiction story. So So yeah, and I think that's it. So had a pretty good week. Other than Addie LaRue and Elevation, ugh, the stinker. But honestly, I move on. It's fine. I don't mind when I don't like something. It's fine. But let's see. I do plan on picking up my next short story collection for this month. I'm going to dive into Mr. Glowbones by Ronald Kelly because, of course, I am, because it's Halloween Tales. I mean, hello, right? So I cannot wait. Can't wait to dive into these. And I'm just very excited to have this book. I'm just really excited. There's some really cool illustrations in here as well. This is just going to be pure fun. I can't wait to dive into that. And I'll finish those other two, and who knows what I'll pick up next. I'm not sure yet. I haven't planned it out, but I still have a lot of books on my TBR because, I picked 50,000 books for October to read. But let's see, I think that's about it. And let me just make sure. Let me think a minute. Yeah, that's it. And so, yeah, not a bad week. Let me know what you got into last week for your reading. How's your spooky reading going so far? Or if you're not into spooky reading, what did you get into this last week? I've been trying to watch scary movies this month, and I'm not doing so well with that. But I did have a day Monday, or I get off for that holiday that shall not be named, but I did watch 3 episodes of Midnight Mass, enjoying that so far. Now that's a slow burn that I like. That's my style of a slow burn. And I finally went back and watched Blair Witch, that sort of sequel to Blair Witch Project. Came out maybe 2018-ish or so. And I liked it. I did really like it. And gave me some spooky feels and reminded me of when I first watched the Blair Witch Project, and it scared the heck out of me. So that was a fun one. But yeah, I was hoping to have watched a couple more spooky things by now, but life is life, and we can't always get those goals that we want. It's fine. I've still got a couple more weeks left, so I can squeeze in some more spooky watching for sure. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I am so appreciative. And happy spooky reading for the rest of the week. I'll catch you next week in another wrap up. Thanks for watching.